I'll see how much time I have to do this. I'm just doing this quick hair brushing kind of segment. And I wanted to talk about, first off, like, I don't worry, like, about comment moderation on this channel because sometimes I get weird comments. I don't know if they're from, like, second language learners or what, but these days it's just like, okay, if you didn't take the time to use Google Translate or write a pertinent comment or a good comment, if it's not like something substantial or just nice, or it just seems spammy and weird and it doesn't make any sense, like, you're getting deleted. So I'm like, because I know some people, they think any engagement is good engagement, and that's why you have some big channels, their comment section's a mess. Like, basically, I feel like some of the channels that just prioritize comment quantity over comment health, they're more interested in having so many views and having engagement. But if you notice, they don't even engage with their comments. Like, their comments are a free-for-all. And that doesn't make me respect you as a YouTuber. It just makes me think you're a very, or the other lazy kind of YouTuber, the ones that are like, I engage with comments at the very beginning of my video, but then later on I just let it go. I'm like, that'd be kind of like, oh, I do laundry once a month, but I just let it pile up the rest of the time. I mean, what's the point then? Why are you even engaging? I think if you're going to have an open comment section, you need to be a steward of your comment section. And if you can't, like, curate or have a positive vibe in your comment section, it kind of just tells me you're the modern Jerry Springer. You like all that frictiony stuff, or you just like weird stuff or spam. And I'm like, you know what? Engagement is not just engagement. Sometimes it's just spam. So I'll delete them. If they can't figure out how to leave proper comments, or they're just leaving gibberish, I just delete it. The next thing I've been noticing is I need to do YouTube more. I just haven't been as motivated. But I'm going to work on getting my motivation back up to do YouTube. Another thing I wanted to talk about was this whole 2B, 2C hairstyling style method thing. I get a lot of people love to enhance their waves, but I've decided I don't see the point in putting all that product in my hair just to make my waves do a certain thing. And plus, at the end of the day, I like lighter hair. I put oil in my hair, but I like my hair to be lighter. I don't want to have like mousse and gel. And they're like, oh, but it'll be light once you scrunch it out. But I'm just kind of the opinion you could just not put product in your hair. You can braid your hair, and then the next day it enhances your waves without the product. That's kind of my feeling on wavy hair. I feel like there's this whole wavy hair dictatorship. What is the wavy hair dictatorship? It's these people who think now because they saw one like creator do wavy hair a certain way that they all need to do it, or like certain ones. And then if they find a creator, me, who doesn't do that, like I tried it one time, didn't like it, didn't like the way that the products made my hair feel, don't feel that I need to scrunch my hair. I decided I'm kind of the anti-scrunch girl. If you want to scrunch and you have curly hair, I think that makes sense. But I just feel like with wavy hair, the thing is, people with curly hair, they don't even really need to use that much product, and they can scrunch and get that result. And I feel like with wavy hair, yes, it can enhance it, but I'm not going to put a million products in my hair just to do that. I just like light hair, and I like to run a brush through my hair, and from bottom to top. And I like to be gentle, and I just find sometimes I feel like all that scrunching isn't super gentle. It might be more gentle than when people use hot tools and they flat iron their hair, but I just don't think your hair wants to be roughed up that much. Like, I just feel like, because a lot of wavy hair people are adding too many products in their hair, I think, because they're trying to mimic 3C curls. You have 2B to 2C curls. You do not have 3C curls. And then even now, like, they're basically, some of them are getting out the curling iron and they're like, oh, but this one isn't good enough. I have to fix it. And I'm just like, it's too much of a headache to do that for me. I don't like hairstyles like that. Plus, I don't know, it's a loose hairstyle and your hair's going everywhere. And I just feel like it promotes Tangletown, and then you have to do more upkeep and maintenance on a style like that. Whereas if you just brush your hair out with water, like water styling, brush your hair out, braid it, it's so much more simple. And I don't know, it just seems like more my thing. And I don't like my hair going everywhere. I think it's for people that want to wear their hair loose. Those styles are for people that enjoy loose hairstyles with their hair going everywhere. And that's another thing too. Men that claim to love long hair. Do you guys really? You don't really love long hair, because they think that women with long hair can just wear it going everywhere all day long. And some people do. But let's be honest, real transparent about that. If you wear your hair loose all the time and it's going everywhere, you're going to suffer more mechanical damage. How do I know? Because when I was younger, I used to wear my hair loose more often. I didn't trim it as much. And my hair never grew beyond a certain point when I was younger. But as an adult, when I started wearing my hair in a braid more, and I started trimming it more often, being more protective with my hair, then I had an amazing long hair journey where my hair grew way beyond where I had when I was younger, the first time that I had long hair. Hair trimming, it's essential. I don't agree with these people. Like, you might have a few unicorns in the long hair community. They're like, don't ever trim your hair. No, don't listen to these people. Trim your hair as much as you want. Like, once your hair is past classic length, I give you permission to trim like every 3 months. And that's what I was doing. Who cares if your hair reaches floor length? That is such a, to me, I don't care about that. Because I feel like these people, and the people that would say it to me, like, I always wanted to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I would have accounts that said this to me claiming to be women, and I don't really care. But I noticed, like, after I cut my hair, those people didn't count it on my account anymore, whatever, that's fine. But also, they never showed me a picture of them. So I'm like, okay, this is fine, but maybe you do have floor length hair. That's cool. But it worked. In real life, I think floor length hair is just not a goal that I think is all that exciting. I had upper calf length hair. That was such a headache. So yes, some people want to get floor length hair, but I don't understand the obsession with that. It's an obsession. Let go of that obsession. A lot of the things, like, I love the beauty of long hair, but men who promote healthy long hair don't tell women that they need to wear their hair loose all the time. They don't tell women that they need to do this, this, and this with their hair. They don't have weird fantasies with a woman's hair. They want a woman to promote healthy hair. And yeah, if you're that kind of guy, that's cool, but I just don't care about the guys who think women need to wear their hair loose all the time. I mean, you can, but the thing about wearing your hair loose all the time is, for most people, it's not going to grow past a certain length because you're just going to get more mechanical damage. Because when your hair is going everywhere, it has more potential to get caught in everything going everywhere. That's just reality. So you can do that. Hair extensions. I want to talk about this too. They are not ethical if you're getting them from human hair. And right now, I guess there's a human hair scarcity. There should be anyway, because it's like these women are being paid nothing so you can have your hair extension fixed with human hair, and you don't care about the conditions that human hair was procured under. You just want the extensions that bad? No, it's not healthy to those people, because they're not being paid a good amount of money. Maybe some of them are, but most of them are paid nothing. Absolutely nothing. So you can have hair extensions. And it's a racket, and it's kind of a form of modern usury and slavery. I don't like it. Not a fan. If you want to wear hair extensions, synthetic ones look good too. Why does it have to be human hair? Maybe because you don't care about humans? I don't know. That's kind of what I think. People that don't care about humans probably need to wear human hair extensions. It's probably very vital to them. And it's because it's just not ethical. I mean, unless you're gonna fly to a third world country and pay a woman $10,000 for her hair, how is it ethical? It's another human's hair. I have a big problem with that. I know our society doesn't have a big problem with that, but hair extensions being so normalized from human hair, that shouldn't be normalized. You can do whatever you want with your hair, but why does it need to be another human's hair? Because if this was an animal we were talking about, people would be up in arms. They would be up in arms and livid. People like, the hair grows back. Yeah. So you're okay that some woman only got paid $30 in Thailand to sell her hair to you? Or China, where sometimes it's not procured under the very most ethical conditions. I don't know. It's like people want what they want, but they don't want to see the side of what they want. Just like, okay, personally, I don't eat meat. I am more plant-based. I know a lot of people want to eat meat, but then they get really upset when they find out how meat is slaughtered and they wouldn't want to do that. Like, would you want to butcher a chicken? This is the question. Like, if you're eating a chicken, would you want to clean a chicken and do the whole process? Because if you aren't willing to do that, maybe you shouldn't be eating that. And that's fine if you're willing to do that. Personally, I think you can live a happy life without eating meat. But I do find it funny that some of the biggest, like, people that are talking about, like, slaughterhouses and whatnot, they still eat meat. They still go to In-N-Out. Please. Oh, but there's this grand illusion. People act like In-N-Out is more ethical because their meat is more ethical. No, my dearies. It is not. It's still hamburger, and a cow still was slaughtered for you to eat the hamburger. An animal still died. So if you're okay with that, that's fine. But don't pretend to be some faux environmentalist. It's just faux. Look, I do think some environmentalism is important, though. I think companies should want to make ethical choices, shouldn't want to pollute the water. It's sad that we had to have carbon emissions laws, but I do remember as a kid how thick the smog was in San Bernardino Valley. Like in the 80s, it used to look is thick and brown, and people would talk about how in the 1930s you could see Catalina Island from the San Bernardino Mountains. Well, lo and behold, in 2015, you could see Catalina Island again. So I'm not saying that I agree with always having to enforce carbon emissions, but I do think we need some sort of balance. I don't think we just want to let companies be rampant in polluting the environment, but there needs to be a balance to some degree. Like, we need to find ways just to be more ethical. But the question with that is everybody's going to have a different definition of what that is. And at the end of the day, some of that might mean that if you're an environmentalist, like Al Gore, supposedly, who I don't... The funny thing is Ted Kennedy's actually... Not Ted Kennedy. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a bigger environmentalist than Al Gore's ever was. He's a bigger one. Like, he actually was out there collecting samples on the Hudson River. Like, he is the legit thing. Like, if you really care about environmentalism, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has done more for environmentalism than Al Gore, who, to me, Al Gore's kind of a poser. I've always kind of saw Al Gore as like a poser. He always wanted to be there, like, when they're having a conversation. But he really wasn't what he pretends to be. feel like we need some sort of environmental initiative. Okay. I personally feel like we need some sort of environmental initiative to make sure that companies are not like completely polluting the land, but there needs to be a balance. So I guess this is where I lie. I feel like we need to have like some sort of stewardship of the land. I don't want companies to just rampantly pollute the environment. And I actually think, like, I started reading up on Robert F. Kennedy Jr. last night, like learning more about him. I actually think this coalesces, and actually it fits in with his view on preventative health 100%, because he wants to be a steward of the environment. He wants to be a steward of people's health. I think he's very passionate about that. I don't know if I agree with him 100% on the preventative stuff. Like, personally, I do think it should be a personal choice. I just don't exactly agree with his exact determination. Like, I don't agree exactly with how he feels about it. But where I do agree with him is, yeah, I do think it should be a personal choice. And I think with environmentalism, I'm going to be honest with you, we do need to have, like, in more populated areas where there's more people and more population density in a business that might be polluting the water, the air. I think there needs to be, like, some accountability. I know that's not a very libertarian position, but I kind of do agree that, yeah, you need some sort of accountability, because at the end of the day, they are a corporation. They get tax breaks. They benefit from the community that they're operating in. So I don't think you should pollute the air and water and land. I think there needs to be a balance. And I think actually Robert F. Kennedy Jr., like, the more I read about him, I kind of like his balance on that issue. I think he's pretty balanced. I don't know. I think in some other areas maybe he could be more open-minded, but his environmentalism, I kind of really respect it. Like, the more I read about it, I also respect, what else do I respect about him? I didn't know that he had a drug addiction, and because of his father being assassinated, that he became addicted to drugs, and he turned his life around, and he started investing in becoming an environmental lawyer. Like, that was something he was very passionate about. So yeah, I kind of respect him. Like, the more I learned about him, I'm like, you know what, that's very respectable that he turned his life around, cleaned up his act, and had something he was passionate about. So even if you don't agree with him on environmental issues, I think that's great that he went from being a drug addict. He was very intelligent. He was a very good student, but apparently he did have a drug addiction to heroin and coke, and he turned his whole life around. And I learned some new things about him last night. I'm like, you know what? Good on him. And the preventative stuff, like, I don't 100% agree with him, but I do think it's good that he is pro-free speech, pro-choice. So out of all the candidates right now that we have running, he seems better than some, like, to me. Because I'm not a fan of Biden and DeSantis, so yeah, I don't know, the more I read about him, I can't say I agree with him on everything, but I kind of like him better on a lot of things. I think he's better on a lot of issues, and he's actually walked the walk, because, you know, Al Gore was this flashy celebrity. He always talked about how he was pro-environmentalist, but RFK Jr. was actually out there as an environmental lawyer. He was actually doing work for the environment. Like, he did the real thing. And all his, the way he feels about how preventative medicine has injured people actually coalesces beautifully with how he feels vaccines do. Oh, that's not the word, I'm not supposed to say that. But, like, his views on it, they actually kind of align. And by the way, I'm not anti-preventative medicine, because I had a lot of things when I was younger. I do think now that maybe it's getting a little out of hand, and if we're seeing that sort of preventative things didn't prevent people from getting the thing that it claimed to get, and the side effects are bad, and people are having symptoms that far outweigh the supposed benefit of something that wasn't really tested yet. I do have concerns about that, but people are like, you can't question that. It's like sacred. But listen, when you got that thing, they made you sit there for 15 minutes because they wanted to make sure you didn't pass out. And they made you sit there, and they were like, no, you can't leave because we need to make sure you're not going to pass out, and we don't have to take you to the emergency room. So if they didn't know that, if they didn't believe that there could be side effects, I don't think they'd make you sit there for 15 minutes. I mean, I didn't personally see anybody pass out. But the fact that when any other vaccine I ever got, I know I'm not supposed to say the word, you never had to sit there for 15 minutes. But this just keeps in mind, it was very new when they launched it. And I mean, that's just one example. So when I was young, I got lots of preventative medicine, all the different things. But it is questionable that the list keeps growing of things that they want us to get. And then if people have side effects or they still get the thing, and some people got the thing and got very sick. So my question is, I don't know. I think it's okay for somebody to abstain from it. Like, I think that should be a personal choice. I don't really want to know the status of everybody and what their health is. And I thought that was supposed to be personal information, but there was a violation of HIPAA in the last few years where people thought that they could be privy to somebody's personal information, and you're not privy to anybody's personal health information. I think people forgot that. Like, if somebody doesn't want to tell you like their status on that, legally they don't have to. They just don't. And I don't know. I feel like it's interesting. It's a weird dichotomy. Like, I feel like it was just so new and people were acting so certain about things. But if people had side effects or misgivings, I was never one to judge them for that. But I know it's popular to do that, so I kind of get what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. stands for. I mean, I might not agree with him 100%, but I do get it. Anyway, that's my thought on that. Thanks for watching.